Here we go. Welcome everyone to my first free webinar. Today I am going to share 5 secrets on how to say no with grace and confidence and without seeming selfish. So you're not supposed to feel bad about your no, which I know many of you do, and it was the exact same thing for me. So let me briefly share my screen with you because I've prepared a little something. This is a bit weird. I'm right in front of the letters, but let's take it like this for now. Okay. I hope you can see what I'm just sharing. Wait, I think you will see me right in front of it, right? Let me change that. Okay, here we go. Now, maybe let me introduce myself first, right? Some of you might not know me yet. My name is Jule Gonzalez. I am living in beautiful Berlin in Germany with my 2 daughters and my husband. I am 34 years old and I am a former perfectionist and everybody's darling, as I told you, which is why, this topic of saying no was like a key lesson that I had to learn in order to, find back to myself and kind of reclaim my time and energy and become the master of my time and energy again. I was like a ping pong ball. You know, people were coming to me for help, for support, for advice, and I was always, I was gladly giving it. I love to help. I still love to help, but I was always saying yes, and it totally drained me. So this is why this topic is so important to me and why I want to share this with you today. I am currently working as a yoga life coach. I also do a lot of energy work. So if you're interested in any of that, send me a message. Don't be afraid to reach out. Yeah, a fun fact, I'm afraid of ladybugs. I don't know if you've ever met anyone like that. There's a whole story to that. But yeah, I thought maybe add a little something so that you might remember me. Oh, it's this weird lady who hates ladybugs. Yeah, I don't know. I find them disgusting. Okay, so let's get started. So, no is a very hard word, right? It's just a 2-letter word. It's so short. But why is it so hard to say it? Do you have any idea why it might be so hard? Maybe think for yourself for 1 second. And then I will give you just a few of the things that I felt in the past. So for me, it was very hard because I was thinking, I don't want to let someone down. Also, it was like a reward for me because it felt good to help others. So whenever I said yes, for me, that was like, I'm helping someone. I was feeding my ego. Up. Little sneak peek. Also, every now and then, right, when my friends were asking me, do you want to come out for drinks tonight? And actually, I already had plans of just, I don't know, just having a relaxed evening with my kids, with my husband, having a nice dinner, then, I don't know, just have a couch potato evening every now and then, you know? And then I didn't want to say no because I didn't want to miss out on something, the famous FOMO, fear of missing out. That's a very typical reason why it can be so hard to say no. Then many of us think, oh, I don't want to appear selfish. I don't want to be an egoistical person. Other people might not like me in the end. Maybe they think I'm mean. Maybe they think I'm so self-centered and I don't want to help. And then also, very typical, you feel responsible for everything and for everyone. Like, let's say your colleague is asking you to help him out with, I don't know, this report, standard example. And now you feel responsible for him succeeding, right? You take on all the responsibility on yourself. And I'm sure you can come up with many, many other reasons as to why it can be so hard. I'm sure you have many personal ones. Maybe a few of them are matching mine. And another very interesting reason is also that, oh, wait, there's someone else trying to join. I don't have my mouse. Ah. All right, there. Pia, welcome. So cool that you're here. So let's get back into the presentation. Pia, you did not miss a lot so far. Actually, I was just going through the reasons why it's so hard to say no, right? It's just this very, very little word, and yet it can create such a huge amount of trouble. So let me get back into the presentation. All right, maybe you recognize yourself in one of these speech bubbles. And we learned in our childhood usually that a no is socially unwanted, right? That it's mean to say no, that you somehow are not supposed to say no. You're supposed to say yes, but you're supposed to say maybe. And no sounds so harsh, it sounds rude. So we kind of have that ingrained into our system. Now, you might ask yourself, what happens when you say yes all the time? Well, people who cannot say no are very often taken for granted, right? People know, oh, this is the one I can always ask. She's such a sweetheart. She's such a dear. Thank you, dear. That's so nice, right? So they know that they can come and ask you. So they're coming because they know you're going to say yes. And they like that. So they will come again and again. It makes it easy for them. Also, people who cannot say no have trouble asserting themselves to make their voice heard. Also, what happened to me is that you can become dependent on the love of others. It's like a drug, actually. It's this it's as if you were getting a reward for helping someone else. Then your brain is producing, or your glands, they're producing these hormones, and you feel a rush of joy. You're like, oh, I love that. I love to help. It feeds your ego. It feels your helper syndrome. And I really had that. I was so dependent, and whenever I felt like I was not helping others, it actually triggered the entire opposite in my body. And maybe you have experienced that yourself. People who cannot say no systematically overburden themselves. So you tend to take on a lot. And I'm not just talking about work context here. Yes, I'm sometimes taking examples from the corporate world because that's where I come from. But it applies to everything. It applies to friends and family. It applies to all walks of life, right? Where people might come to you and ask for something. And if you say yes for babysitting your cousin's child, yes to doing the courses after work because your husband cannot do it, yes to helping your colleague with the report, and then yes to your friend because she wants to have drinks in the evening. And you're losing the control over your time, and obviously this all then drains your energy. So yeah, we've had that. Your energy level is going down. What happens to your time? The time that you have for yourself, for your loved ones, the time that you can spend as you want to decreases, right? Logically. What happens to your health if your energy is going down? If you have no time for recharging your batteries, obviously your body is going to react to that. So it can be the physical health that suffers. It can also be obviously the mental health that suffers. Your career might actually suffer. It sounds a bit weird at first because you think, oh, well, but I'm doing so much for others. I am helping these colleagues. I'm taking on more projects that my boss is giving me. I'm doing all of these things. Why would this actually hurt my career? It hurts your career because you're doing so much work for other people that maybe the tasks that you're responsible to don't get enough attention. Maybe they don't get enough time for you to produce an actually high quality result. And the people who work with you, they see you as this everybody's darling. They don't really see any leadership qualities. So it actually kind of hampers the development that you can make. And last but not least, your relationships suffer as well. Because usually when we're stressed out, when we're angry, when we're low on energy, we leash out. But we don't leash out at the people at work. We don't leash out at the guy who, I don't know, stole our parking space. We leash out at the people we love most, because around them we feel safe. We feel safe enough to be angry, actually. So, and obviously when you're with your kids, you're low on energy, you're just not present anymore with the people that you want to spend your time with, because the batteries are just empty. So the relationships suffer as well. Now let's get to the good stuff here. What can we do? Number one, someone is coming to you. Hey, can you help me with this? Your first reflex, train this muscle, buy some time. What do I mean by that? Don't immediately say yes. Actually, that's all that it means, because very often someone is asking us, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? And then without actually thinking about it, we say, yeah, sure, no problem. Show me, how can I help you? Sometimes we don't even know what it is about, and we say yes. Because it's like so automatically programmed. We have the brain patterns all there. And this is like the first habit, the first pattern that you want to break. All you can do is be aware and try to be aware by tuning in with yourself every now and then, so that you notice when these situations come up. So try to resist the urge to say yes immediately. And then you can say something like, I don't know, hey, can you help me? I'm not sure, I'll think about it, and then I'll get back to you. And then you have the time to think about your capacities and about your priorities. So you can then think, wait, do I have the time and the energy to help this person? Because obviously helping is a good thing. And if you have the time, if you have the capacities, and if you like that person, nothing speaks against helping that person. Nothing speaks against saying yes. But you first need to check, how am I actually doing? Can I take this workload? Do I want to spend the night out with my friend? So get clarity on your capacities and also on your priorities. What else can you say? You can say, let me take that with me, and then I'll let you know. Another one, I cannot decide that right now. Let me get back to you tomorrow. So all of these speech bubbles, you see, they have these two components. They have first this one aspect that explains, I'm not sure, I need to think, give me some time. And then in the second part, you explain to that person that you will get back to them. And this is not the answer yet. Yeah, this I'm not sure part, we don't want to have that when we say no. But this is the first step that you can take to buy some time. Secret number 2. No, because. What does it mean? It means know your why. What does that mean? That means try to become aware of the reasons behind the no. So first of all, understand for yourself, why is it that I'm saying no? Is it, and it doesn't have to be anything deep. It can be something like, I want to be home for dinner by 5. Or it can be, I don't do drinks on weekdays, or just, it can be anything. But be aware of it. Know the reasons behind you. And also take the time to check the consequences of a yes. So usually when you spend time to do something for someone else, that means you need to cut back on time that you would otherwise use for something else. So something else will fall short. Got to be realistic. And just check that. And it's also something that you can explain, maybe even to your boss. You can tell him, listen, I'd love to take on another project, but if I am focusing on that, this other task that I'm doing will not get my full attention. You can explain the consequences. And communicating also a reason why you say no makes it easier, not just for yourself, but also for the other person to accept the no and to understand why you're doing it. But please always note, no is a complete sentence. You don't always have to explain why you're not doing things. It depends on the situation, obviously, but there's definitely situations where a no is a no and should be accepted as such. And please also don't mix up reason and excuse. When you give someone a reason, it's not an excuse. You don't need to excuse yourself. You're giving them a reason so they understand why you're saying what you say. One example in our case would be, I don't have the time today. That's the reason. Maybe next week. That's kind of a nice way to soften it a bit and to show that you're still, of course, willing to operate and that it's nothing permanent. Okay, moving on to secret number 3, be clear. I know it's hard. That was like the biggest hurdle for me. I was always saying the things that I'm going to show you now. They are kind of organized around this red X. So things like, please don't be angry. Saying, I'm not sure if I can do it. I am really, really sorry, but if you just say, sorry, but I have to decline, that's of course fine. It doesn't mean you are not allowed to say sorry anymore, but don't try to over exaggerate that sorry. And maybe is also not a no. Say, oh, maybe we can find something where I can help you, but no, 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 no. And then there's this but. And you always see these wishy-washy phrases. They always continue with dot, dot, dot. So there's always kind of a but following. Whereas if you want to be clear, you want to make it a full sentence. So you can say, this will not work. And then you can add your reason or whatever we're discussing after that. So make a clear statement. This will not work, full stop. I'm afraid I have to decline. You're on your own on this one. Or just a simple no. But really go down with your voice when you end the sentence. When you go like, this will not work, but the other person already hears the but. They hear that you're unsure, that maybe if I just keep pushing, if I just keep asking again and again, maybe then she will say yes. So go down with your voice, close the sentence. And yeah, this will make it a lot more clear also for your partner, for your colleague, your friend, whomever you're talking to accept that and to understand it. What else can we do? Obviously, we haven't spoken about the voice and the body language yet. Well, I just told you to, finish the sentences every now and then. Don't make these long sentences that never seem to end because they let you sound unsure. I would like to introduce you to the 3 elements of communication. It's a pretty famous concept. So maybe one or the other has heard of it already. Actually, maybe take out a pen and a piece of paper, and I will just give you like a couple of seconds where I want you to put down like from 100%. Let's say 100% stands for a successful communication. What part of that can be attributed to the content? How much would you contribute to the voice and how much to body language? Just put these 3 numbers down. They just need to add up to 100%. Brief little exercise. Maybe you know the concept. Content, voice, and body language. So what do I mean by content? Obviously, by content, I mean the words that you speak. By voice, I mean the pitch, the tone, the pauses that you make, the speed, also the volume. And by body language, I mean everything that the person that you're talking to can see. So it's the way you move your body, it's your posture, it's your gestures, it's your facial expressions. Okay, now let me show you what research has found out. And I hope to shock you a bit here. Because isn't it crazy? Words, content, 7%. So when you're giving a presentation on, I don't know, whatever matter, and you ask people after the presentation, are you convinced by what she told you? The actual content that you brought across only makes up 7%. The people are going to remember your voice and your body language. Most of it, your body language. It was for me like, when I heard it for the first time, I was like, how can that be? Now, what does that mean for our saying no? It means that actually the reason that you give these people, the rules that you give these people that you have made for yourself, all of these things that you say, they're not as important as you might think, because we give them so much weight. We think, oh, how can I say this? I don't want to hurt this person. I don't want to be the mean one. It doesn't mean anything. Say it in a nice tone. And let the other person in. You know? Now, how can you make your body language clear and align your body language with the no that you want to transport? I'm sure you've heard of the word power posing. There's some really nice TED Talks on that if you want to go deeper. Power poses are actually poses that you can take that will give you a little more confidence. They have done all sorts of research with that, like comparing people sitting with hunched shoulders versus a person sitting there with their arms folded behind the head, something like that. And yeah, so these power poses, they help you come across as stronger, as more confident, but they also help you to create this mindset while you're saying whatever you need to say. So yeah, let's look at these power poses here. Now, obviously, you want to have a, yeah, let's say a stable stance. It doesn't have to be as broad as in the picture. I was saying you don't have to stand there like a peasant. But obviously, what I'm trying to say is don't fold your legs, or don't stand with your legs crossed. That's what I did all the time. I was shifting like to the left and to the right. I was crossing my legs. And yeah, but just standing there, stable with 2 feet, grounded, can make all the difference. Shoulders back, straighten your spine, those kind of things. Well, then the next one we have arms raised in a V. Well, that's not really, I don't know, it's not really yeah, practical, I guess, when you're in an everyday situation. But maybe you're on the phone with someone and that other person cannot see you, then maybe you might feel good just raising your arms above your head like that. Hands on the hips, that might be a feasible one. Will also create, yeah, a better sense of power, of confidence. Arms crossed behind the head, sitting or standing. Actually, I can remember a few scenes where my former boss would sit like that in a meeting. And I always thought, wow, he looks so relaxed, because it always looked as if he was just leaning back, like not really sleeping, but he really oozed that confidence and that power. And everyone in the room was listening when he was talking. So it's not about you going to the full extreme here and doing power poses. It's not about dominating the other person that you're talking to. I know that these power poses are sometimes also used to dominate. This is not the goal here. The goal is just for you to have this uplift and to feel the confidence, not to feel wobbly and shaky on your legs when you're saying the no. All right. Let's move on. Secret number 5. This is also one of my favorites. Make it stick, but the nice way. So there is a way to, yeah, let the other person kindly understand and accept that you're saying no, and then that you're not going to change your opinion the next day. Because sometimes that happens, right? You say no, and then you probably feel bad about it. I said no, now this other person is sad, or he will go into so much trouble without my help. Maybe a friend asked you to help them move and you said no because, I don't know, you had other plans with your kids, you cannot help them carry everything up the stairs, and then you feel bad. You feel like, oh, I'm such a bad friend. But maybe while communicating the no, you were already giving that other person signs that you feel uncomfortable. So this other person might ring you up later again and be like, oh, you know what, everybody else is unavailable as well. Are you sure you cannot help? So make it clear the first time that your no is a no. How do we do that the nice way? There's three ways I want you to show. You don't always have to combine them or anything. It's just three ideas. So be understanding. I'm sure you already are. For most of us, where we tend to be too understanding. But yeah, so let the other person understand that you are with them in or not with them in the sense of helping them, but that you understand their situation. So you can say, I understand that it's difficult for you. You can say, oh, what I'm going to say to you now, it'll disappoint you. You can also say, hey, I find your offer very flattering. Maybe someone asked you out and you want to say no. Ooh, this is uncomfortable, right? So you can still tell them, even though it's going to be a no, you can be compassionate and you can say, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but this will not work. And then the other person will feel like heard, you know? So you understand that they're having trouble. They're not just coming to you for, I don't know, they're not just coming to you to make use of your nice way of being. The second option that I'm giving you is you can communicate rules. I have mentioned that earlier already. If you have these rules for yourself, you can communicate them, because then the person that you're talking to will understand that it's not about them. Your no is not about them. It's not about them as a person. It's no to your colleague. It's not a no to your friend as a person. It's a no because you just have rules, boundaries that you stick to. And this is much easier for them to accept. So you could say, I'm flattered, but the weekends belong to my family. You can say, and I think I mentioned this example earlier, I don't do drinks on weekdays. Or you can say, I don't lend money as a matter of principle. So there you even have it in the phrase, in the sentence, as a matter of principle. Now, what is the third way? You can also empower the other person. You can say, I understand that you feel insecure about this task, but I am convinced that you can do this. Why don't you try it first? So empower the other person. Tell them, I know you can do this. Why are you asking me for help? You don't need my help. You're rocking it. You can say, I really can't help you there. You're the expert on this. So basically, and then you can add the consequences. You can tell them, hey, I'm not an expert. You're the expert. You want me to screw it up for you? And you can also say, the responsibility was handed to you. And I'm sure there was a good reason for that. So again, give them resources, as you might say. Tell them, yeah, empower them. This makes them leave with a good feeling. Okay, woo. So that was a lot, right? I hope you took some notes, but I can also send you the presentation if you're interested in that. What I want you to remember is always to bear in mind that saying no to someone else means saying yes to yourself. And you are the most important person in your own life. So, what happens if you learn to say no every now and then? Well, you will have time for the things that are important to you. Maybe that's your kids that maybe suffer from you working too much. Maybe it's your passion. Maybe you're a passionate painter and you want to paint. Maybe you want to start your own business, but you never really had any time, any resources, any capacities for it. So you can have that time by saying no to others and saying yes to yourself. Then, of course, you will have a higher level of energy because you're not using up all of your energy on draining tasks for others, but you might actually use the time, as I said, for things that recharge your batteries. And even if you're sleeping, same thing. You can go and help others all day and then do the housework at night, do this and that, and then just say, okay, so I'm just gonna sleep for 5 hours. But that's not healthy. And that doesn't let you recharge your batteries. So by sleeping, by doing things that you enjoy, where you get into this flow state, you manage to create energy. And then you might be able to help others even more. And then the quality of the work that you're doing for others might also increase. So it's a win-win situation, actually. It doesn't mean the other person is coming off worse. Because then when you actually do help them, the result is going to be so much better. And because of that, you will earn more respect and appreciation. Because the people will learn to appreciate your yes more. Right now, they're used to it. For them, it's the most normal thing in the world that you say yes. But if you say no every now and then, and they understand where you're coming from, then they will understand that you're an authentic person and they will respect you for that. They will not be like, oh, she's everybody's darling. Nobody respects everybody's darling. People like everybody's darling, yes, but they don't respect everybody's darling. And when you're everybody's darling, people might say that they appreciate your help, but they're saying it's a phrase. Oh, I appreciate your help. Oh, you're such a sweetheart. Thank you. But the appreciation will be much higher, as well as the respect, when you say no every now and then. And then you're actually helping when you do help. Okay, so let's sum it up here briefly. The 5 secrets: buy some time, know your why and the consequences. Maybe I should have added those here as well. Be clear. Learn how to use your voice and your body language to bring across the message, not just with the words that you're saying, because words don't mean anything. And then make it stick the nice way by being understanding, by communicating rules, or by empowering the other person, or make a combination of that. Sounds feasible. The first hurdle, of course, is to be aware when you're in a situation where you should remember, oh, wait, now I need to buy some time. Now I need to create some distance between the input that I'm getting and the output by me saying yes immediately. And this is something that you can train. It's something that you can train by yeah, for example, by doing yoga, by meditating, by learning to tune in, by learning to walk around your everyday life, being a bit more aware of what's happening. So this is something that you can train. For most people, that is where it stops, because know your why is a little harder, actually, because there you really need to do some deep work on yourself to define your values. Many people think that they know their values, when actually there's like 100 values out there. And when I'm naming you these values like family, health, honesty, friendship, freedom, development, change, you might say yes to all of them. You might be like, oh yeah, this is my value, and that is also my value. But actually, you need to be able to, let's say, break it down to three. You need to know your three core values. And this is something that many people are having trouble with. Also, many people don't really have created a vision of where they want to go with clear goals and milestones. Many people have not defined their dharma. You've probably heard me talking about it. So their own purpose. And this is actually where I am starting to work with the people in my program. So then comes the be clear part, which then of course will get easier because you have clarity about yourself. Once you have clarity about yourself, you can communicate in a clear way, because it's so much easier for you to make decisions. You have a clear roadmap. Also, then with this clarity comes the confidence to, yeah, speak in an, I don't know, do you say unshaky? To speak with a voice that's not shaking, to stand in a position that's not wobbly and that doesn't feel like you're artificially standing there. And then, of course, you can make it stick the nice way. This is something that you can always do. So if you want me to contact you and get you a free authenticity checkup, let me know. We are going to talk 100% honest. We're going to take stock of where you are right now. We can reconnect with your core values if that is what you're interested in. And this will help you then, of course, to create a clear roadmap for taking decisions in the future. Yeah, so you can comment authentic now in the in the chat function of this Zoom call, or I will probably also put the record up into our group at some point. If you're watching the recording, then feel free to just write authentic in the comments, and then I will get in contact with you for scheduling your checkup call. All right. So that was it. Yay, we already got one authentic. Pia, I'm gonna call you. Okay, ladies, thank you so much for being with me here live. It was a pleasure. And yeah, I cannot wait for you to share with me your stories about how you have said no. So whenever you're saying no next time, let me know or post it in the group. I still need you guys in the group to be a bit more active so that other people can find this group as well. So if you're feeling courageous, please post your stories about how you said no in the group, and then we will all celebrate you for that, for how amazing you did, because I'm sure you're going to do absolutely amazing. All right, so I wish you all a very nice evening. Thank you for bearing with me, and yeah, also let me know if you want to have, if you want me to post the PowerPoint presentation. I think it's actually not too complicated, right? Okay, Have a wonderful evening, you guys. Ciao.